Hi, my name is Brad with Brooklyn Bicycle, and today I'm going to show you how to adjust your handlebars up or down on our bikes that feature a threadless headset system. The Lorimer and the Roebling both feature a threadless headset system. Basically what we're going to do is the stem has an angle to it, either somewhere between like a 5 and 10 degree angle. By flipping it upside down or flipping it right side up, depending on how you're looking at it, we can actually change the height of the handlebars. So the first thing you want to do is grab a 4mm Allen key, and you're going to want to loosen up the handlebars and remove them by just undoing the 4 screws on the faceplate of the stem, which are facing forward on the bike. So you're going to unscrew all 4 of these bolts completely. And once these are out, we're going to take the 4 screws and the faceplate, set them aside, and we're just going to let the handlebars gently hang down on the bike, being supported by the cables for the shifters and the brakes. So the next step we want to do is we want to remove the top cap from the headset system, which is a 5mm Allen key, and we're going to insert that into the top bolt and just unscrew the cap. And again, you're going to remove this completely. There's the bolt, there's the cap. And again, put that to the side. The last thing we need to do is loosen up these 2 4mm Allen keys. Again, it's a 4mm on the back of the stem, which is now going to release the stem from the bike. Simply flip it over and put it back on. As you can see now, it's very loose. We're going to have to realign this with the front wheel. Putting it back on, first thing you want to do is you want to put the top cap back on first. You do not want to start with the screws on the back. What this top cap does is as it compresses, it actually tightens up and adjusts the bearing inside the headset here to make sure that your front fork moves about freely. So again, we're going to take this 5mm Allen key, we're going to tighten this up, and we're just going to go snug. You don't want to tighten this up too tight at all. You want to make sure that the wheel is still spinning freely and that there's no wobble or any play or rattle in the bearings. But like I said, you want to snug it up just a little bit more than hand tighten. That's all you want to do. Next thing, we're going to go for the handlebar and put the handlebar back on. One thing you want to make sure is just make sure all the cables go back in the right way and that they're flowing properly. You don't want to have them all twisted up, because that may create problems for your shifting and braking later on. So you just want to make sure that everything looks good on the cables and that nothing's tangled up. You're going to put the faceplate back on. I grab 1 bolt at a time and start threading them in by hand so you don't cross thread them. And now we can grab our 4mm Allen key and start screwing these 4 bolts back in. One thing to keep in mind when you're screwing the faceplate and the handlebars back onto the bike or onto the stem is the faceplate, you want to try and maintain an even gap between the faceplate and the stem on the top and the bottom. You don't want to have it pinched too high on the top or pinched too low on the bottom and too big of a gap on the other side. You want to tighten up the bolts evenly, making sure that the gap is pretty consistent between the top and the bottom. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the other thing you want to keep in mind is you want to get the angle right. So once it starts to get a little bit tight, you want to make sure that the angle of the handlebars is where you need it to be, and then you're going to continue to tighten up the bolts. Once the 4 faceplate bolts get a little bit more than hand snug, I tighten them up top and bottom evenly until all 4 bolts are nice and snug and tight. Again, the handlebars have to support your weight while you're riding, so you want to make sure that these are nice and tight, but you don't want to go and over tighten them and strip out the stem. So the last thing we need to do is, now that our headset bearings are compressed with the top cap, our handlebars are reinstalled with the faceplate, is we need to line up the stem with the front wheel and tighten up these 2 bolts on the back of the stem with the 4mm Allen key. And again, these should also be tight, but not so tight that we strip them out. If you're looking for Newton meters, about 5 to 8 Newton meters is perfect for both the faceplate and the bolts behind the stem. just a few Newton meters, very light torque on the top bolt. And that is it. Now the angle of the stem has gone from a negative degree to a positive degree, and we've probably raised your handlebars up about 1 inch. Thanks so much. I hope this video was helpful.